What is happening, guys? JTF back at it right here in the old home office. Today I'm going to talk to you about something that a lot of you are going to think is a bad word, but hopefully I'm going to be able to change your mind by the end of this video. Today we're going to be talking about a frequently demonized macronutrient we know as carbohydrates. Where do they come from? What do they do? How much should you be consuming? Should you cut them out? I'm going to try to keep this video somewhat brief, but I'm going to try to answer all those questions. First of all, carbohydrates are a macronutrient, which means they are a nutrient that is not only vital to our body's existence, but it's also something that our body cannot make on its own. They're required for bodily function, but we have to get them from outside of our body, which is to say we have to eat them. And when you consume them, your body begins to break them down and converts it into glucose, or simply put, blood sugar. Blood sugar is going to be readily available energy for the body to use. Now, fats and proteins can also be turned into glucose if needed, but the body's go-to functionality is to do this with carbs. Therefore, carbs are considered your body's primary and preferred source of energy. Now, as far as what carbs do, there are three particular types of carbohydrates. There are starches, there are fibers, and then there's sugars. Starches and fibers are considered complex carbohydrates, which means that they break down kind of slowly and they're less likely to make your blood sugar spike. Starches contain a variety of micronutrients, which is also known as vitamins and minerals, that your body needs to function properly. You'll usually find starches in your beans and your fruits and veggies, and in a lot of your whole grain products. Now, fiber is also considered a complex carb, and it aids in digestion. Fiber cannot be broken down by the body, but as it courses through your system, your blood sugar will regulate, your cholesterol will go down, you'll feel fuller longer, and to be completely frank, you're going to poop a lot better. You're also going to find these in your beans, and your fruits, and your veggies, and your whole grains, but there's also a good amount of fiber in your nuts and seeds as well. Finally, there's sugars. Sugars are simple carbohydrates, which means they break down super fast, they make your blood sugar rise really quickly, and then we're going to crash just as quickly. We've all experienced that big sugar rush when we decide to eat 4 donuts for breakfast that's soon followed by an unplanned nap. That's exactly what's happening here. Now, natural sugars are going to be found in some places, but some of the places that we've talked about before, like your fruits and veggies and stuff, there's going to be some natural sugars in those. But we get most of our sugars from processed food that has sugars added to it. Think about your candies and cakes, sodas, and stuff like that. These are frequently the culprit behind your typical type 2 diabetes, and because that condition is caused by chronically high blood sugar. Now, there's an entire school of thought in the fitness diet industry that's been going on for ages now that says that carbs are the enemy, and that in order to lose weight and get in shape, we have to eliminate or at least restrict carb intake. And let me just tell you guys this. Officially, on the record, this is misleading, therefore it's fallacious. The act of eating carbs does not make anyone overweight. Carbs contain calories, and an excess of calories will make you gain weight. If you're a keto freak and you're losing weight, it's because you're in a calorie deficit. It has nothing to do with the fact that you're not consuming carbs. If you're on keto and you're consuming more than your maintenance amount of calories and protein and fat, guess what? You're going to gain weight. That's how it works. That's how science works. Keto and Atkins may work in the short term, but at the end of the day, they're not sustainable. And if you make them sustainable, you might want to invest in some hardcore vitamin supplements because you're going to be in a micronutrient deficiency at some point. I would rather just eat some sweet potatoes. Now, just so we know now, they're good for you, as long as we don't go hog wild with them, and we shouldn't cut them out. So how many should you eat per day? I hate to tell you guys this, but there's no real answer for that. If you're ballparking, you can do percentage of your overall diet, as far as like a certain percentage of protein, a certain percentage of carbs, a certain percentage of fat. But total, the amount of carbs that you're going to consume per day is going to be based on your weight, your gender, your height, your age, your activity level, and what your goals are. So there's a variety of things that are going to change that number for every individual person. There's no magic number. I will say that when I make nutrition plans, the amount of protein that you consume and the amount of fat that you should consume is always going to be based on your body weight, and the amount of carbs that I'm going to ask you to try to take in is going to be whatever's left over from your calorie requirement for the day. Let me know if you'd like to see a more in-depth breakdown of how macro ratios are going to be calculated. I'm going to be making that video eventually, but if you're really into it, I'll try to prioritize it, bump it up to the top so we can kind of explain a little more about that macro breakdown. If you guys have questions about anything at all related to fitness or nutrition or personal development, please do not be hesitant to reach out to me. I'm always here, always happy to help you guys with some of this stuff, and I'm really, really grateful to have the opportunity to do so. That's it for today. Thank you so much for listening. Share this with your friends. Give me a like, give me a comment. Let me know what you thought. Let me know what you'd like to see in the future. See you guys next week. And until then, ever onward.